Hello. Oh my goodness. Hi. I'm Nadia. It's nice to meet you. Come on in. We're going to talk about the new moon. I'm going to teach you a tarot spread. If you're not at the point of doing tarot yet, I'm going to show you how to do it with oracle cards. So come on in, join me. If you're like a lot of people that I've been talking to and hearing from over the last few days, this new moon energy has been really intense. It's like really uh, playing in that realm of complete and total transformation, depending on what version of astrology you practice. We are either in a Leo new moon or a Virgo new moon. And honestly, it kind of feels like both to me right now. So, um, yeah. What are you feeling? Are you feeling the Leo hot? Leadership energy, which would be working around things like it's safe to be seen, it's safe to be happy, it's safe um, to get what you want. That's kind of the Leo new moon energy. And then on the other, it's not even the other spectrum of that. Another way of experiencing this is the Virgo new moon energy, which is really structured. It's like get shit done energy, but it's also fresh beginnings and fresh starts. And I'm actually very much feeling both of those because this feels like a fresh start to do it all over again. But as the leader that I always wanted to be, as the leader that I wanted to see in the world, all of those things. So I'm kind of actually feeling a little bit of both. So I'm really curious to know what you're experiencing. If you want to go ahead and comment down below. So let's do some tarot together because that is what we're doing. So I'm Nadia Black, and I am a co-creator at the Black Magic Underground, where I teach magic and mayhem, mostly to initiates who want to learn more about magic and how to play in the realm of the magician. And I use the tarot as a tool of initiation, as a tool for the path of learning more about yourself and your spiritual connection, your devotion to the divine, service to the divine, and ultimately surrender. My flavor of magic personally is chaos magic. I am what I like to say, I am chaos incarnated. So I use chaos magic to move through this world with a little more ease, a little more flow, and a lot more power. And I am personally on a mission to change the world with magic. That's what we're doing over at the Black Magic Underground, is teaching people all about this kind of stuff so that you can use it in your own life. And I'm actually going to read you this book. So Black Magic Underground is putting together a book club. This is going to be our first book that we read in the book club. It's from like 1995. I was 5 years old. No, maybe more than that. I don't know. Math is kind of hard for me. I was 8 years old. 8 years old. Anyway, so that's what it's from. This is what we're going to read. So it's Condensed Chaos, an introduction to chaos and magic. And I'm going to read you a little bit of this, and then we're going to jump into teaching you all about this tarot spread. Okay. Let's read it. I was reading it earlier today, and I was just like, yes, this hits the nail on the head. So let's start with this. Then we'll do a little invocation, and then I'm going to teach you this tarot spread. So welcome. If you're just joining us, you are absolutely in the right place. If you're watching the replay, chat down below, #replay. But I'm going to read you a little bit about chaos magic here. What is magic? The world is magical. We might get a sense of this after climbing a mountain and looking down upon the landscape below, or in the quiet satisfaction at the end of one of those days when everything has gone right for us. Magic is a doorway through which we step into mystery, wildness, and imminence. We live in a world subject to extensive and seemingly all-embracing systems of social and personal control that continually feed us the lie that we are each alone, helpless and powerless to affect change. Magic is about change. changing your circumstances so that you strive to live according to a developing sense of personal responsibility, that you can affect change around you if you choose, that we are not helpless cogs in some clockwork universe. All acts of personal and collective liberation are magical acts. Magic leads us into exhilaration and ecstasy, into insight and understanding, into changing ourselves in the world in which we participate. Through magic, we may come to explore the possibilities of freedom. I love that. So if you're interested in this, the Black Magic Underground is starting a book club. You can go to blackmagic.underground.com, sign up there, learn more about that. So if that sparked your interest, come join us. You're in the right place. All right, so tarot. Tarot is a lot of things. And right in a lot of trainings and a lot of people's minds, it's this tool of divination. What's going to happen to me? And we turn to the tarot. Will I ever find love? We turn to the tarot. But I think it's so much more than that. It means so much more to me than just being kind of this thing I go to when I want to know if some boy likes me. I turn to the tarot in times where I need help with strategy, when I need to see a bigger picture. I turn to the tarot when I need to know where I am on my path and what might be coming up. So for me, it's been a guide along this journey in a way that I really haven't found elsewhere. I use astrology to help anchor me into the energies of what's going on internally and collectively and outside of this greater universe in which we're playing, or galaxy, solar system that we're playing in. I turn to astrology for that. And together we can use the tarot and astrology to really understand and strategize our lives so that we can, just like this book said, affect change in our lives. So tarot isn't this passive thing telling you what to do. It's an active co-creator in your life. And every tarot deck has its own consciousness. It's a sentient being that exists to have this conversation with you. And you can also think of the tarot as a way to translate energy into what you can understand, right? Because the language of energy, if it can feel chaotic, it can feel complicated, it can feel complex, it can feel a whole lot of things. And if you're somebody who maybe as a child through trauma or conditioning or the school system or church or whatever it might have been, if you had your instinctual, energetic nature dismissed, you might not have that deep connection with it that you once did. So you can use tarot to translate that for you so that you can remember what it feels like to be back in your energy body and to be back listening to your intuition. Or maybe you just never really had it to start with and you're curious, like, well, how do I uncover my intuition? How do I, listen to my energy? Tarot can be a really good teacher for that. But what we're going to use tarot for today is strategy. One of my favorite things to use tarot for. So we're in a new moon cycle, and the new moon is really amazing for, one, we plant our intentions, right? So for me, this happens around the point of the new moon, and it's a pretty quick thing. Now, building up to the new moon, I'm releasing everything that's getting in the way. I'm releasing the stories. I'm releasing the trauma. I'm releasing the conditioning. I'm releasing the old, outdated, stagnant energy. I'm releasing. It often feels like I'm being squeezed like a tube of toothpaste until everything just kind of like bursts out of me. That is what kind of leads to that moment where we're in metallurgy, right? You beat the steel and beat the impurities out of the steel until you're left with just this beautiful sword or whatever it is that you're making. And that's kind of that phase. It's the temperance phase where everything is just being purified. It's crucible moments, right? And then you come into that new moon portal energy where everything is starting to, like, the foundation is being laid and those seeds can now be planted because the soil is fertile, it's ready, and you can plant that seed. And then what happens immediately after kind of depends on you. For me, it often translates into now I'm going to sit down and actually, pour out of me the strategy that I need to know for the next moon cycle. And if you're in business or if you have a goal that you want to achieve, this is a really good way to kind of get that momentum going and to really stay focused on what it is that you're creating. So if you're looking for a journal practice, this is a really good one on the new moon. That's when you sit down and you journal out all of your dreams and desires for the coming moon cycle. And then this tarot spread can help give you some insight into how that's going to go. So this tarot spread, I actually wrote this down. I'm going to show you from April 12th, 2021. And it's going to look something like this. Okay. We're going to do a circular, so a spiral spread. This is not a beginner spread. Okay. But if you are a beginner, you can still watch this. I'm going to break that down how you can use it. But this is a much further along spread. You've been working with the tarot and you're wanting to pull some things out. You can also do this with oracle cards. This is one of my absolute favorite oracle decks. I love it more than anything. And you can use an oracle deck for this spread as well. I originally learned it from the Mythical Goddess Tarot. That's where this comes from. This is the deck I learned to do the spread on. Now, I'm actually going to use my now favorite deck in the entire world, the Crow Tarot. All right, so this is what I'm going to pull from. But as you can see, whatever deck calls to you is the perfect deck for you. So we are going to pull 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 cards. Okay, 14 cards in this spread. So if that seems like a lot to you and it seems fun, then let's do this thing. If that seems like a lot to you and that seems overwhelming, listen, I'm going to help you break this down into an easier to follow spread. But if you're like, fuck yeah, let's do this, let's give a challenge, I got you. All right, so you can shuffle your cards any way you want to. All right, there is no proper way to do this. In fact, I was reading over one of almost every tarot deck comes with this booklet, and that has been the case for hundreds, if not hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. It comes with like this booklet that just gives the correspondences to each card. Now, as you go deeper into your understanding of tarot, you can start to learn where those correspondences come from. A lot of them are based on astrology. You can learn, different systems like the Golden Dawn system and where their correspondences come from. So you can really figure out why does the hermit mean what people say the hermit means. Like you can go on that journey to figure that out. And then as you sit with that card, it means something different for you. But I was reading through one of these decks and it gave a whole spiel on how to like as you're doing a reading for somebody, how to read them while they're shuffling the cards, because how you shuffle the cards says a lot about you as a person. I lay them down and I make them all chaotic and crazy, and then I intuitively like pull. Other people have a very specific way of shuffling the cards and cutting the deck and all of that stuff. It does not matter. All right. So it doesn't matter how you cut the cards. Whatever feels good to you, do that. Okay. There is no right way or wrong way. There just is. So however you want to cut this, be my guest. Nobody's going to come and be like, "Ooh, you were bad. You were bad and you're going to be punished because you didn't shuffle the cards just right." Unless you're into that sort of thing. And then I hope that somebody comes and punishes you for shuffling cards wrong. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to just shuffle the cards any which way. Now, as you pull the cards, again, however this feels right to you, do you want to pull them and lay them out in this spiral right away? Do you want to pull the 14 cards and then lay them out? Do you want to lay them face up, face down? I do not care. But you do. And however you want to do it is the right way. So, because what you're doing is you're having a conversation with these cards. You're talking to the cards. You're listening to the cards. You're learning from the cards. They are pulling to you, and it's teaching you how to do this as you do this. I'm giving you the spread, and I'm going to share with you ways that you can work with it. But ultimately, you're in charge. All right, there's no right or wrong way to do that. This is chaos, anarchy, magic. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to start pulling the cards. Now, if you want to do reversals, that's entirely up to you. If you want to not do reversals, again, entirely up to you. I am going to run out of space. This is fun. Okay. And one of the things is you can't get it wrong. You can't pull the wrong card because you are always being led in the right direction. This is not a test that you can fail, okay? How you interpret that card is going to be entirely up to you. How you read the spread is going to be entirely up to you. Trust your intuition. Trust yourself, trust your inner guidance, trust that the universe has your back. And I know that can be really hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ooh, we're almost there. 12, 13, 14. When you have been told your entire life that what you're experiencing isn't real, it's all in your head, that's not the real world, it's just pretend, it's all made up, it's manipulation, it's whatever, it becomes harder and harder to trust yourself. And so we're just remembering how to trust ourselves. We're remembering how to listen to ourselves. We're remembering how to commune with the greater cosmos. All right, so I'm making some chai tea here. I'm going to keep doing that because my throat's going to start getting a little scratchy here in a second. So I want to make sure that I have this ready. So we're going to just start talking about this. So the first card that you pull, and you can write it down. And if you, here is how I wrote this down when I did it. I'm going to show it to you one more time. But again, however you keep track of your tarot cards is your business. This is my strategy, all right? I just wrote it in the spiral that it's supposed to be in because life is one giant spiral. Life is just constantly spiraling and it looks like this, right? It's not like you're constantly like spiraling. And as you get to the top of one spiral, so you start out and it's teeny tiny and then it gets a little bigger and then it goes teeny tiny again. And that teeny tiniest of tiny spots at the top of one spiral is the very bottom of another. And you just do that into infinity. That is life. That is everything. That is chaos. That is existence. That's God. That is you. So when we look at our lives in the framework of a spiral, that's how energy moves. That's how this galaxy is moving through the universe. Like we are that spiral, and that pull that we're experiencing is just that spiral. So that's why this is a spiral. And I think it's so beautiful. And this is why I use this for the new moon, because we can look at it, okay, this is a snapshot of where we are right now at this beginning phase, and where are we going? So this first card is who you are. Who you are. And read that any way you want to. Who you are is what this first card is going to reveal. And you're going to read, because if you're, really getting a handle on this tarot thing, read the fucking book. Like read the book and feel into how you feel about that. So I pulled the 5 of Cups. So I'm not going to sit here and read all of these for you because that would be boring. I'm showing you the spread and telling you what each position means. How you interpret it is up to you. So we've got the 5 of Cups. That's who I am. And then you can come over here and you can read your book and you can find out who you are. All right. And then you just keep lifting. Right? This is how you read the tarot. So the next card is influences you're moving through. So who are you right now? How are you showing up? Who's like, how I read this card, I'll tell you how I read it, and then you can see if that resonates with you. How I read this card is like, especially around the new moon, I have just gone through one giant cycle and I am now an entirely new being. Like I've dealt with all of the old trauma of the last cycle. I hopefully have uprooted all the things that need to be uprooted and I'm starting fresh. So who am I now? Who am I now that I'm not who I was this time last month? Who am I right now? And sometimes this is like subtle changes, and other times this just feels like you have completely like dropped in to a strange vessel in a strange world, and you're like, all right, no, who seriously, who am I? So that's how I read this. Like, okay, who am I right now? And then the next card is influences you're moving through. So in this new moon cycle, because we're really putting it toward this new moon, but knowing that spirals and cycles are kind of this concurrent thing and always moving and they're always on top of each other and they're always flowing. But we're kind of zoning in on this new moon cycle. So what influences are you moving through? And I pulled justice. So influences you're moving through. So maybe this might be the external. So if you're somebody who's really tapped into the collective, this might come up for you. Like, what are you going to be seeing a lot of in the collective as you're being this person? Or maybe this is like family stuff that's coming up. Maybe it's your own internal stuff, but it's these influences that you're going to be moving through. And remember, if you're using this as a strategy, a tool for strategy, like think of this as a chessboard and you're just figuring out what does the chessboard look like, where are all the pieces, and what moves might happen. That's how I look at tarot, because I love chess and I love strategy. So then the next one is influences coming through. So now another way to read, I love that. Another way to read the influences you're moving through, this could be like things that you've like already moved through and now what's coming in. So the old is what you're moving through and the new is what's coming in. I pulled the Devil card. I love that. Hi, Daddy. It's good to see you. All right. And then next we have the life path marker to heed. That sounds fun. All right. So the life path marker to heed. So what is something that comes up for you in your own cycle, in your own journey? This is when your pattern recognition skills are coming into play. What are some of these markers that you know to be true along your path to mean certain things? That's what's going to show up here. And for me, it's the Tower. I love the Tower card because it just means like everything, like divine intervention is what the Tower is. It's just divine intervention. So I know that a life path marker that I need to pay attention to is the fact that everything could come crumbling down. Like God is moving through and just being like, this is how it's going to go down. So that's what this is. Like, and it's going to be specific to you. Like, what along your path do you recognize as like something to pay attention to? So over the next moon cycle, start paying attention. What's coming up for you that you're like, I know what this is. I've seen this before. Pay attention to those markers. All right. The next one is guidance to seek. All right. So I pulled the Ace of Swords here. So guidance to seek. So the Ace of Swords, like swords are thoughts, air, energy, and the ace is always the infinite possibility of that element. So this is the infinite possibility of swords. Now, I always come back to temperance. Temperance is one of my favorite cards in the entire tarot because I really identify with this idea of being the sword who is just made to be the most powerful weapon in the galaxy, in the universe, in the entirety of all of it. That strength, that power, that force, all of that is represented for me here in this Ace of Swords. So if I'm seeking guidance, it's around, how to temper that, or, how to calm my thoughts. Like something around that realm is coming up and I need to seek out that guidance. Now we have hidden opportunities. And remember, sometimes hidden opportunities lie in challenges. So we need, flipping that mindset of opportunity comes in many forms. This is the Ace of Pentacles. Ooh, fun. So pentacles are the material world. It can be, it's wealth, things like that. It's like material things coming to you. It's the element of earth. So we've got the Ace of Pentacles here. It's that eye on the prize, stay focused, anything is possible. Like, remember that the vision is clear. So like the opportunity, we've got opportunity here and an infinite potential card. That's a really cool thing. So we've got, hidden opportunities. So what could those be for you? Then we have life challenges in current circumstances. Right, life challenges in current circumstances. Okay, so life challenges in current circumstances. What does that mean to you? And why are we pulling it for this new moon spread? So it's not all going to be butterflies and rainbows as you move along this path, right? Things come up. And when you pull these tarot cards, when you really speak with the tarot, it's going to show you what could be in the way before you get there so that you can decide how you want to approach that situation. Tarot doesn't mean this is going to happen. The tarot is here to say, hey, here's a possibility. How do you want to show up and handle it? Because you, God, inside of you, divine incarnated, have the power to shift this reality. So life challenges in current circumstances, like currently that's right now, what are those life challenges? So the Knight of Cups showed up. And when the Knight of Cups shows up for me, that is two things. And it's always the flip side. It always means nada. Like, I don't, my like nada is always the Knight of Cups. And it's usually that like I need to take a moment to like reevaluate that very specific connection in my life. And that's just me personally. It's going to show up differently for you. All right, guidance to heed. So we have guidance to seek, which is here, and then guidance to heed. This is the cards telling you, hey babe, like pay attention, all right? So we have the Queen of Swords, which is oftentimes myself and who I am striving to become, that really balanced leader, thought leader, specifically the balanced thought leader who is able to like actually make her way in the world. And it's especially interesting that the guidance to seek and the guidance to heed are both swords. So I love it when the tarot plays fun like that. So guidance to heed, like listen to this card, okay? All right, then we've got the next one is, I gotta spin my little thing here. A life lesson in current circumstances. So we have life challenges and life lessons. So notice how the spread is like talking to itself, which is really cool. All right, so life lessons in current circumstances. So this is the world. This is completion. And that I have been feeling more than anything, this major cycle that I've been through over the last 6 years is coming to an end. And this card is telling me like, yep, spot on. You've got this. So this is the lesson. My phone started to die, so I got the video out. Sorry about that. All right, so we have completion. That lesson is completion. All right, so then we come to what needs to be shed. Okay, now we're starting to really get a glimpse into how this moon cycle is going to work, because we just talked about this. When do we shed our skin? We shed our skin during that period right before the new moon, when we're cleansing. It feels like like you're being squeezed like a tube of toothpaste. And that's what this next cycle, what are we going to shed? So I pulled the Nine of Wands. All right, so that card in that place is going to really highlight for you what your waning moon period is going to look like. Then we come into what needs to be embraced. Like, what are you bringing into your life? And here we've got the Page of Cups. So what needs, like, who are you right now that just needs to be loved up on? What part of you needs to be seen, heard, loved, validated, and embraced? What part of your inner child needs to be like deeply embraced? What part of this experience on earth needs to be embraced? Maybe it's pleasure, maybe it's passion, maybe it's creativity, right? Like those are the things. So mine was the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is this really fun, youthful, person who allows like her emotions to just shine through. And this is like exactly who I need to embrace right now, is like that fun, playful version of me that has been waiting to come out. And this cycle, this 6-year cycle has come to an end. So now she's like, all right, let's play. All right. So then we come into, sorry, I have to keep like moving my books. I have this all written down for my own journal. I'm just teaching you this thing that I learned, and now I'm teaching it to you 2 years later. All right, so then course of action recommended. So what do we need to be doing? What are the cards telling us to do? That's not the guidance card. This is like, okay, if you're navigating a path, if you're setting a trajectory, and it's to the lover. So I'm going to read historically this was the lover. It was that, the lover. It wasn't the lovers. So I read it as the lover, back more aligned with more traditional decks before they were shifted into the lovers. But the lover is the final card in what I call the character cards in the major arcana. So you have the magician, the high priestess, the empress, the emperor, the hierophant, and the lover. Yes. And this one is that final card. And it is, to me, it represents that complete balance of feeling all of these things within me, and they're really playing together nicely. This, to me, represents complete and total alignment. So the course of action, right? And I pull the lover card. What is the recommended course of action here? Alignment. Just focus on alignment. And I do that energetically. All of my alignment work is energetic, and I use sound medicine and healing to really align all of these energies together. You want to be aligned physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. You want all of that in alignment so that you can be in a firm foundation. You want to be in that place so that you can really create and amplify your magic in the world. All right, next up, we have final outcome. So what you've followed this advice and you're doing the thing, what's a possible outcome of all of that? And I have here the 6 of Cups, which is beautiful, harmonious, sacred number there of like emotional, like it's all going to feel really yummy and juicy. So what is a possible outcome, right? That's what this card is saying. Like what could happen? Like if we do all of this stuff, if we play our cards right, what could happen? And if like harmony is what comes up, I'm going to be like, all right, I am going to take this, to be like, okay, I'm listening, universe. Now, if this card is not harmonious, then I'm going to say, okay, show me why, like what out of all of this, show me why this is in dissonance. Why is this not harmonious? Show me what's getting in the way of harmony. And you can pull a few more cards and get that answer. And then this final card here is message from the future. Oh, that's awesome. And then we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Roman numerals are not my strong suit, so I often have to count them. So never feel any sort of way for needing to count the number of objects on the page, because the Roman numerals, I'm bounce numbers back and forth. So then to see it in Roman numerals, my brain is just like, no, thank you. So I will often count them. And if you do too, that's fine. So I pulled the 9 of Pentacles, which is a really just like message saying from the future, being like, it's all working out. Like you've got this, like it's all here. You're doing an amazing job is what that card is saying. So that's the spread. I love to sit down with a spread during this part of the new moon. We're about the other side. I'm not going to sit down with the spread on the new moon because I'm probably already doing a whole lot. I'm planting those seeds. I'm moving through a lot of energy. I'm not in this space. But the day after, hell yeah, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to do the spread. I'm going to let the cards talk to me and I'm going to listen. So I hope that this was helpful. I'll go through it one more time. So you're going to pull 14 cards. All right. You're going to pull 14 cards in total. Now, I lay them out in a spiral because that's how I see the energy. If you want to lay them out in a straight line, in whatever feels good for you, like that is perfectly okay. But you're pulling those 14 cards. The first one is who you are. The second one is influences you're moving through. 3 is influences coming in. 4, life path marker to heed. 5, guidance to seek. 6, hidden opportunity. 7, life challenges in current circumstances. 8, guidance to heed. 9, life lesson in current circumstances. 10, what needs to be shed. 11, what needs to be embraced. 12, course of action recommended. 13, final outcome. 14, message from the future. And I have this really delightful notebook that I just realized today I've almost completely filled up. I like to have a notebook that is special, that feels good to write down my tarot spreads in. That's exactly where this is, so you can see it inside of it. And I actually have several more. This is actually another version of that same spread, just slightly more chaotic version. And then I'll sit and I'll journal it and I'll feel into it and say, okay, what came up? What really spoke to me during that reading? And I'll journal about it. And what I've come to realize is over the last 6 years, we've been through this wild spiritual ride. I actually have anthologies of my journal or of my journey written down in these journals. So I always highly recommend, when you feel pulled to it, writing about your tarot spreads. I don't always, because sometimes I'm just pulling some quick cards. This is a sit down and sit with it. And, I'm going to want to come back to it kind of spread. And these are the kind that I'll sit and journal about. But if it's one, if you want to journal all of them, journal all of them. Yeah, but then you have kind of a marker of how far you've come and what's manifested and what's still in the works, because you can then look at it and be like, all right, well, the universe has brought me this, this, and this, but this is still, on its way. Because if you get to the point where you're wanting something, if you have that desire, that means that it is available to you here in this physical manifested reality. You just need to attune to it and pull it in towards you. But if you're having the desire, it's already here. It's waiting for you. Okay, so this is the spread. We're doing book club. We're going to read Condensed Chaos, Chaos Magic. So if you're wanting on that, blackmagic_underground.com. We also do other workshops and events. We're mostly based out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, but we do a lot of stuff online. The book club will be online. We're going to start doing more online stuff to reach a wider audience. So be sure to like that page. And if you like this and you want to support what we're doing here, you can cash at me, hashtag the Nadia Black. So THE Nadia, NADIA, Black, BLACK. I would love the support. It helps keep this going and all the other stuff that we do here at the Black Magic Underground. So thank you so much for your support. And thanks for joining me for this new moon spread. If you liked it, comment and let me know, because if enough people are like, yeah, this was amazing, I'll do one of these every new moon, and we can work through this together. I might teach you a different spread. And we can also start doing this, throughout the month. So just let me know if this is something you're interested in. So thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm Nadia Black. I am one of the co-creators at the Black Magic Underground, where I teach magic and mayhem to those who want to change the world with magic. I also host No Swipe Date Nights and do relationship coaching for people who want more out of their relationships, more love, more excitement, more passion, more. And that's at noswipedatenight.com. We're currently only doing date nights in Albuquerque, but we're expanding into other places soon. El Paso, I've got my eye on you. So if you're in El Paso, hit me up and let's make some magic happen. All right, well, thank you so much. I finally got my chai ready, so I'm going to go drink that and watch this beautiful storm that's coming in. Thank you so much. I forgot to do the invocation, so let's do a closing here. I'm so grateful for all the wisdom that came through during this, whatever this was, the sacred circle. I'm so grateful for all of the energy and the love and the beings who were here to receive this. I'm so grateful for the energy that was shared within this circle. And I'm so grateful for how this will be a ripple that will amplify throughout the cosmos. And I'm so grateful that I get to be a part of this magic to teach and to share the wisdom that I've been blessed to receive. And it is a sacred honor to be here in this space. And I call in more of this, more. And so it is. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. Oh, and Nada said that the only reason I was doing this was to show you my leather pants. They might not be wrong, but I have to show them to you because I have to turn off the video and it's all the way there. So take a look at them while you can. Bam, bam, bam.